I'm Eddie Bromley. This is the Book of Revelation in 5 minutes, part 21. In these chapters, we're told about the day of the Lord as a battle, and it's told twice. The nations of the world gather to oppose God, and then Jesus appears. He shows up as a great hero riding a white horse, ready to conquer the nations. But notice that before the battle even begins, Jesus is covered with blood. Why? Well, because it is his own blood. It is by his own blood that he'll conquer the nations, by his own death, his own sacrificial death. In the West, we tend to focus on the death of Christ as the means by which we're forgiven of our sins, and that's true. But in the East, it is the Christus Victor idea that holds most power. It is this idea that we hear in the book of Hebrews, that by Jesus' death he conquers Satan and the powers of evil. Notice too that his only weapon is the word from his mouth. See, Jesus comes to conquer and administer justice and hold the nations accountable. The wickedness and evil that they have unleashed on the world becomes their own appointed destiny. In 20 verses 1 through 7, we have a vision of the martyrs who have been brought back to life and reign with Jesus for 1,000 years. Then in verses 8 through 15, after this, the dragon rallies the nations and wages final war on the people, similar to what we read in Daniel chapter 7. But before the throne of God, all who have chosen evil over good face the final judgment of God. Now, there are at least two ways that you can read the close of this passage. You can see it very literally as Jesus' return, followed by 1,000 years of reign on earth, followed by final judgment. Or, and this is the way I see it, is that the 1,000 years is a symbol of the spiritual victory that has been won by Jesus and the age leading up to the return of Christ. I think either way of looking at it does justice to the text, but I believe that the second way probably is the way that makes most sense, especially when reading it against the backdrop of the rest of the Old Testament and the rest of the New Testament. Here's what I want you to get from this passage. The Battle of Armageddon is over before it begins. Jesus is victorious in the cross and in the resurrection. And when Jesus returns, he will deal with evil once and for all, and everything that has spoiled his creation will be put to an end, and he will vindicate his followers. And peace and justice and reign of God, the mercy of God, will be filling the earth as the waters fill the seas. If you like this video, please give it the thumbs up and be sure to subscribe for future content.